Hello everyone, you know who this is, yet you have absolutely no idea, of course. As many of you have probably noticed, I've been sitting on the sidelines pretty much for the last few weeks because I had a feeling that something like this was going to happen, and I wanted to just sit back and wait for it. And by something like this, I'm going to explain in very minute detail moving forward. Before we do that though, I want to take a look at a video uploaded by They're Distorting Our Rhthym out of Sydney, Australia, and he tells us exactly who he is in the video. And it was uploaded on June the 29th of 2018, over 2 weeks ago.
Alright, Montagraph, this is They're Distorting Our Rhthym from Sydney. Alright, Mr. Tough Guy.
Well, he means business. He's calling us tough guys now.
What you cherish most is your channels. And guess what, Buttercup? Better hang on tight to those. What you fail to understand, Sesame Seed boy, is...
Sesame seed boy? I'm not really sure what that means, but we're going to move on.
And the big events come through in the TWOV community. Crisis actor upon crisis actor will be revealed online, and guess what? The distorting Easter egg comes into play. And you can type in whatever words you may, but guess what? Your name's going to be up in lights. We are going to warn the naive, young and old, of your LARPing ways, especially the Vegas shilling of October and November. And as I stated, no one has the guts to take you down, and guess what? I am the ethical one down under.
Yes, you heard that correctly. They're Distorting Our Rhthym out of Sydney, Australia just claimed that he was the ethical one down under, that he was an ethical person. But before we get into that, I want to focus on the fact that him and James over there, Chinada, had been saying to Montagraph that he was not going to be able to upload YouTube videos, that his YouTube presence and his online presence was basically going to be annihilated in some way by July 2nd. From where I'm sitting, it's July 16th. On the West Coast, it's July 15th, but we'll go by that time zone. Let's go by West Coast, California time, Pacific. That's a 1-5. July 15th. That's 2 weeks later, over 2 weeks. Montagraph is still uploading videos. Montagraph is still doing the same things that he's always done online. He's uploading content to the Montagraph channel and to his others. And this is the problem. When you start making threats and promises to people, to the public in general, to your own followers, as well as to the target themselves, and then you fail to follow through on them, people tend to start viewing you as a joke. It's a trap that I've watched people fall into time and time again. They make these threats, they make these promises, and then when they fail to follow through with them, to make good on their threats and their promises, they wonder why nobody wants to subscribe to their channel, why no one wants to listen to them, why they're only able to pull 200 subscribers, if that. I'm going to shift my focus now to the mind-numbing ineptitude that you're seeing on the screen right now. These are videos that were uploaded by They're Distorting Our Rhthym out of Sydney, Australia. The individual that you just heard say that he was the ethical one from down under.
Who's really trying to convince nobody out there, because nobody's watching this garbage, okay? We know Justin Woolee, Professor Doom, all ran out of financial assistance from their handlers. We know every one of these scenarios was fabricated, don't we? That will be all.
And a link to their own Facebook page on their YouTube channel. He's a kid, he's a teenager. Middle teens probably, maybe 16, 17. It's something that I did. Went a little farther than I would have liked. I mean, male ejaculate. I'm not on here for friends.
So now we know why he tags himself, don't we? He can't get out of this bind one way or another.
Well, Mr. There Distorting Our Rhythm, you're going to have a lot of trouble getting out of this bind because I have the raw file that you pulled that audio from, and I have unequivocal proof that you just attempted to frame me as a pedophile. How's that for ethical?
I was able to get where you did mention that I dropped people's personal information, that I dropped people's docs, and I did in fact do that. And I accept full responsibility for that, and I make no apologies. It's something that I did.
It's something that I did.
Especially considering the fact that they had a link to their own Facebook page on their YouTube channel.
They had a link to their own Facebook page on their YouTube channel.
I didn't give his address, but I did. Went a little farther with it than I would have liked.
Went a little farther than I would have liked.
I mean, you are very infantile in the way you do things. It's obviously like the other Here Be Monsters channel, Here Be Monsters, M0NSTERS. That individual, I mean, it's obvious that he's a kid, he's a teenager. Middle teens probably, maybe 16, 17. I mean, I can understand you guys are on here just being kids and just playing jokes. And I don't really care what a bunch of kids do. I don't really care what a bunch of 15, 16-year-old kids do online. It does not interest me. But if you're acting like a dumbass, I'm gonna call you out on it.
He's a kid, he's a teenager. Middle teens probably, maybe 16, 17.
You do these things on here because you can't do them anywhere else. You call everybody that you meet a pedophile on here and you say fuck you and make all sorts of comments about male ejaculate and whatever. Because you can't say these things to people in reality. For one, if you say it, most people on the street are going to just beat the holy shit out of you if you do.
I mean, male ejaculate.
And just to add insult to injury, here you see the video that he put up entitled Montagraph Endorsing Cat Mutilation, and here you see the actual owner of the video claiming that it was the RCMP and Montagraph's not even mentioned. So let's review. The ethical one from Down Under is claiming that he is going to remove Montagraph's accounts 2 weeks ago. Well, that's physically impossible at this point. That ship has sailed and he's failed. Kind of rhymed a little bit there. Also, he has attempted to frame me as a pedophile, while he pulled all the audio from a video that is still on YouTube as I speak to you. The term intellectual ineptitude comes to mind when I think about this. These individuals are constantly complaining about other people on YouTube, claiming that these other people are holding them down. The YouTube community is not holding you down. They're distorting our rhythm. James, Chinada. This has nothing to do with the YouTube community holding you down. Your competition is not the problem. The problem falls squarely on you and your intellectual ineptitudes. You have just been busted, framing someone for mutilating animals as well as framing someone as a pedophile, while claiming to be ethical and claiming to be telling the truth. and claiming to your viewers and subscribers that you're telling them the truth, betraying their trust. The average IQ falls on a bell curve. The average is 100. That means that roughly half of the population is above 100, and roughly half of the population is below 100. Which side of the bell curve do you think Chinada and Distorting Our Rhthym are falling? Where I come from, this is called checkmate. You have just been caught red-handed promoting false information and falsely accusing others of animal mutilation and pedophilia. And you need to consider moving forward what it means to falsely accuse people of those things. People stop listening to you when you've been caught in lies. Again, this has nothing to do with anything that I've done. This is on you. You chose to step onto my playing field, and now that you're on it, you're going to have to deal with me. That's all I have for you.
When you say something like that, I really wanted to touch upon this as well. When you go around calling everyone who disagrees with you or everyone that you don't like a pedophile, it kind of takes away from the meaning of that word and what it actually represents.